this week's heart-pumping chapter of Bleach, Shunsui Kyoraku continues to attack from the shadows as he does everything in his power to cut down the Sniper Quincy, Lil Baro. Main reason to check out this week's chapter of Bleach, you finally get to see Lil Baro activate his Volstandig, which turns him into this giant, demonic-looking angel covered with feathery wings, which has the ability to apparently stop time and blast people with giant balls of reishi death. This week's chapter, unfortunately, was just not all that exciting, mostly because the first half of the chapter was a lot of the side characters who are all worrying about Shunsui Kyoraku. They don't gotta worry about this guy. This guy is the leader of Soul Society. He's got the freaking skills to pay the bills. This was all just filler. However, when we finally do get to the battle between Shunsui and Lil Baro, that's when things really start to pick up. However, we get a lot of explanation as to how Lil Baro's powers actually work. We already know that he has that big gun, which is apparently made from his reishi energy, and whenever it actually gets destroyed, he can just remake it in a brand new form. And then eventually, Shunsui decides enough toying around, he's going to attack him from multiple angles, and there's this really great panel, probably the best panel of the week, aside from the introduction of Lil Baro's powers, where you see Shunsui and all of his weird shadow clones, yes, that's what I'm calling them, they literally jump up in the air, attacking him from multiple angles, and they actually stab him from behind. That's when Lil Baro decides that he has got to activate his extreme godlike powers, and that's when he opens his eye for the third time. That's when he actually activates his Volstandig, which turns him into this giant angel being. And like I said, as soon as he does this, like instantly, in a pure instantaneous moment, frickin' Shunsui is just stopped in his tracks. He can't move, he can't attack, and then suddenly he is hit with all of these big attacks, ending this week's chapter, leaving us wondering what the hell just happened. So, what's the rundown on this week's chapter of Bleach? A very simple chapter right here, but I love the design of the Volstandig with Lil Baro. It's very unique looking. It almost kind of looks like a mixture of like a demonic angelic moth. That's literally what it looks like. It has these giant wings. It's one of the biggest Volstandigs that we've actually seen in the series, and it does change his appearance oh so slightly with these brand new white stripes which are covering his face. He looks really intimidating and creepy. Although I have to admit, I think his powers are a little cheap. Not only is he now this giant kaiju monster beast that can fire these energy balls of death, but he can stop time. I think that's just a little unfair. I don't know if this has anything to do with his special eye or anything, but it is interesting because I never really even noticed until now, because he's got such a weird design anyway, that he has always constantly closed his left eye this entire time. It's actually got this like weird almost tattoo seal on it, and when he actually activates it in this week's chapter, like his eyes go completely white, there's this big blinding flash, and then he transforms into his Volstandig form. It's some pretty exciting stuff, and definitely the reason to check out this week's chapter. The first half, not so much. The only real, like, problem I have with this week's chapter is there's just too much freaking explanation for everything. Let's just get to the battle. Let's just go ahead and open the chapter with the big transformation sequence. You know, they don't really need to drag this out all that long. I don't want this battle to go on as long as the one with Mayuri Koratsuchi, despite the fact that Koratsuchi himself has amazing dialogue and the person he was fighting against was very godlike. It seems like they're going to try to sort of replicate that again with Shunsui. However, you know, Lil Baro himself is not like a limb of the Soul King. He's not like a body part or anything. But he does have powers which were given to him by the Quincy leader, which in a way kind of put him on like a near god level status. So we're really going to have to see what this guy is going to do. All I know is we're about to see the beginning of another battle with Shunsui and another guy who can use guns. We're just going to have to see how it turns out. Of course, we all know that Lil Baro is probably just going to get completely destroyed. We might even get to see the return of some other characters. I still have a feeling that Shuhei is going to show up just out of nowhere because he was seemingly killed off-screen. And you just don't kill a character like that off-screen and never get back to them. I imagine he's going to show up, maybe interrupt the battle and activate his Bankai for the first time, which this could be a problem too, because, you know, we want to see his abilities, but we also want to see Shunsui activate his Bankai for the first time, and there's not a lot of time or opportunities for these characters to do that because we're in the final arc of the series, so we're really going to have to pick and choose what we're going to have to see here, but I'm really interested to see how they're going to start this battle because I really don't think it's over. You know, the chapter ended with Shunsui getting hit by multiple attacks at once, but the guy's really tough, he suffered worse, I really think he's going to be just fine. But this week's chapter was okay. It was the beginning of a really cool battle, had some pretty cool artwork, a little bit of cool action, and that final shot of Lil Baro in his brand new form looked really cool, but to me, it was still just kind of an average chapter of Bleach, but it'll probably get more exciting next week and in the coming weeks of the chapters. So I'm going to give this one right here a 3 out of 5. Just a fun, average chapter of Bleach that any Bleach fan should definitely check out. But before you guys leave today, I want to hear your thoughts about this week's chapter of Bleach. What do you think is going to happen in the battle between Shunsui and Lil Baro? Do you think Lil Baro has even more abilities aside from stopping time and firing energy balls? Do you think that Shuhei might actually return to the battle? And what do you want to see from the rest of the final arc of Bleach? Please tell me in the comments section below. Thank you guys for watching my review. Make sure to like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, stay dandy, baby!